Hello, comrades. It's Premier Rever, and I am back once again, looking down at the city of Revergrad. It is a wondrous day here in Revergrad, or I should say Reverstan, right? We, we have plenty of things to do. We have made a wonderful plan for our electrical components, so I'm happy about that. I think I'm going to react to a few of the comments that I've had to get this video started. Have the time paused, and one of the first comments to react to is I don't think I've been doing a good enough job of laying out what I'm doing and why. Like, I think that I assume that you guys are watching each episode, and maybe you missed some episodes, or who knows? I mean, there's other things in your lives. You're not thinking about what's in my mind. So maybe sometimes I'm not saying it. Maybe I think I said it and I didn't, or maybe I didn't say it clear enough. So what I would like to do, or start doing in the beginning of each episode, is sort of stating what my plan is and then how it relates to the overall plan. One of the reasons that I came over here, because we might as well get started with this episode, is saying, my plan is that this will be a construction episode. And I'm going to warn you guys about that because in a construction episode, I'm going to just be focused on mostly construction. I may do a little bit of planning here and there, but I would probably think of the planning that I would do as more fine tuning, right? So for example, I know I want to put down a kindergarten and a bus stop over here. So, depending on when I actually go put that bus stop down, we'll see if it makes sense to, continue with that, or maybe I change something up a little bit. So, as construction goes on. So without further ado, let's do this. So the other reason I mentioned that it's a construction episode is I think that some people don't enjoy the construction episodes as much as others. I get the general impression that people tend to like the planning episodes more. So I will try as best I can in the beginning to tell you if I plan on doing a lot of planning. Like, one of the things I really want to do is get over here to Neuve Revergrad and start laying that out, because I think the plan for that affects other plans. In other words, how we lay that out is going to affect what we do in the future with other things like our food factories. So I think the next episode is likely to be a planning episode. But this one, I definitely want to make this a bit of a construction episode. So if you've watched past episodes, I think you could probably divide what the two out are. So there might be little things like completing this. I don't consider that planning. But once we get, some more roads built where we can get a bulldozer up into here, that'll be wonderful. And there might be some things that I mentioned in a planning episode, like once we get this road completed in our construction episode here, I think I may, put a little bit of minimal storage right here. That's one of the other things we might do in this episode. But the first thing I think I want to do, and we had paused the video right after I think the bulldozer may actually be in the tunnel. I noticed when I restarted the map, I had saved it like right here, and there was a bulldozer here. So any second now, we should be getting a bulldozer into this. And I would like to destroy this road and once we get the bulldozer over here, then I think we might just need an excavator for some of this stuff, but we'll see. I'm going to probably pause it at that point and just so we can get this road laid out. So what I'm thinking of is we're going to have food factories somewhere over here. So I'm thinking of just getting another construction office over into this area. Now we should talk about, that construction office isn't just going to be, we're going to use this for actual construction. So what I'm thinking of is maybe like right over in this area, if we can get that far. And this will at least give these guys something to build on while we're working. How are we doing with our tunnels? We're kind of getting there, aren't we? On these two anyway. They are just plugging along. Yeah, so that's one of the plans, is to get, that much, and I don't really consider that much for planning. So we'll get that built. How are we doing? Let's go around while we're waiting for that bulldozer. And yeah, so this guy, I love this fact that we can click on this and see exactly which road he is working on. Good. So he's got, you know, he's not the best road building guy, but he is building roads. Now we do need to plop down this, but let's go around to our, thank you, game safe. Let's just make sure that everybody has a job. Yep, 33%. So he's got a job. Let's see, we're still using these guys. Yeah, they're working on two. Everybody's working on roads at this point, it seems. Pretty shortly, we'll be able to get some of the buildings built over here, which will be a fine day. Now, someone made a comment about getting supplies into here. And yeah, I think we absolutely should, at some point, talk about a supply system. But I don't want to talk too much about it until we have more laid out. Like, in other words, I'm going to have food factories here. I'm going to have other things, you know, maybe a new meat packing plant someplace. So we shall see what we do with all of that. There we go. We got a bulldozer. So let's pause it for a second, just so we can get this road. Now, much like I did in other places, I want to separate out these tracks. So I want to tend to keep this road closer to the river if we can. And let's turn on our wireframe. I think I just want to come from, like, say, here. Okay. Now, turn red, turn yellow. Now, having just done that bit of a mess, would we ever have a road? Yeah, I could definitely see the possibility of a road coming over from this way, maybe even railroad tracks, right? So let's just make sure that we could, if I come here, yeah, we'll be able to do a crossing like that, say, one day, right? Might be a little bit awkward. Or do we just, you know, I think I might want to do, let's just lower this back down a bit. Right, does that make sense? So we'll come from like here. Yeah, I like that better. It's not that much different in some ways, but at least if we brought a road in, it's not going to be too odd. Yeah, there you go. So like, yeah, I think that's a little bit better. All right, so we could probably keep coming straight to about this point. Good, we could still level up to here. I'd love to get around this, I don't want to call it a bend in the, yeah, you know what, I also want to, yeah, we'll keep it right close to the river there. On the, yeah, I need to, oh, look at that. I didn't know you could level the water. Yeah, I think I kind of want to keep it straight there, right? And how's that look? It's a little bit higher up than I was picturing here, but that's probably a pretty good place. And then what we would have is eventually the railroad tracks coming down from here. So let's see. All right. Yeah, I think that would make sense. So we'll take, we might as well just do them, right? Railroad tracks, or at least get them semi laid out here. We're doing more of a planning episode immediately. Okay, so see, that's why you kind of want to do things at the same time. So let's get rid of all of that. And that, yeah, this really isn't very... See, there is a place for the old leveling tool. Sort of. All right, so now let's see. If we bring the track... Whoa. Guess I try to keep it a little far away from the road. How does it? Let's just plop it in there. We can always get rid of it, right? Yeah, and then I'm picturing this kind of comes around. Boy, that's a lot of raising. Yeah, so you don't necessarily want to do that because then it won't let you level the way you want. Oops. Oh, I don't need to use that tool. So if we come here and then go to like that spot, we can kind of and then all right, so if we ever wanted to bring trains in and whatnot, we would bring them up across the road there. Let's put our roadway back. Can we just go there? Yeah, you know what? Lower you too. You don't need to be. There. So that way they're separated. So if we want to, you know, at least a little bit separated. And then eventually we'll have food factories in here, but now we're down to here. So let's kind of commit to this. And then, again, the railroad tracks were a little extra bonus, though we still have quite a time before we get the trains building over here. Yeah, like I said, I'd like to tuck construction office over into here. So can we still, you know, let's bring the road just a little bit further. So that when we level here, so yeah, I would picture that we probably want maybe a mini storage over here eventually. Let's make this a lot bigger. But in the meantime, we'll have a little branching road come off of here that will have a gas station. And we'll try to make it so that we could put in maybe we'll do it right now. And before we go too much further with this, we're going to go check on our other constructions. Not including, yeah, that's kind of nice. I think we might do some building leveling from that point, but you know what, we can, you know, I think I'm just for now, just for the sake of, do we have everything we need? Yeah, well, we got 12 mechanisms in there. So I want them to work on that section of road. And you know what, no, I changed my mind already that quickly. Let's come in here and now let's come back to roads. Yeah, it doesn't have to be perfect. Like we could come off of like this already intersection here and say we could have, you know, like a construction office here. And then a gas station, because they go hand in hand. Would be nice. One improvement that I wouldn't mind seeing would be a construction office that held gas. Well, really a whole self-sufficient, I made it comment in one of the videos. I think it would be nice if you had a whole self-sufficient station here, you know, like where this guy could just store stuff. So, you know, you could choose to buy things from there, but like in my case where I like to do things more manually, you could also, you know, this guy could send out trucks as needed to keep himself supplied with stuff, right? It would, you know, still be maybe slow and cumbersome, but at the same time, you know, it would prevent you from having to build a whole city in that area. So that'll be one of the debates for this guy, is if we do put more storages down in here, you know, he's still not going to have people. And that people become as big a problem as anything else, because like gravel and asphalt, like every job seems to need that. So what I'm picturing, and I'm not going to build them right this minute, in part for reasons I just described, is, you know, would we have something like this where we could then put a storage yard and a, what do you call it, bus stop maybe. Again, I'm not sure. I've never tried to bus people into a construction office. I don't think it works that way. I think you have to go send them out to that. But anyway, accomplished a goal, which is to just get it to where we could build this construction office, which will be good because then I think that's going to let us do some more planning in this whole general area, even if for now we just put our bulldozer and excavator over here. Good. All right, so let's turn off the wireframe for a minute and let's go see what. Oops, let me pause. So we should be in good shape. All right, so we say we're going to do a construction office, and then I spend the first 10 minutes or whatever it is, or 10 of the 15 minutes just planning things. So now what are we doing over here? So not much time has probably progressed, has it? No. But these guys are ready to be asphalting this, and that's good. And then the other thing, I don't think these guys are going to go anywhere, so I don't think we need to pause this. Not that the other guys were going to, but yeah, see, if we don't have people building supply is not necessarily necessary, if that's a heck of a way to word it. But in other words, you know, is the whole purpose of having this guy over here just to get the bulldozer over here? And maybe for some future consideration, like this guy, I definitely would like to see us supply this guy. But I also want to get the bulldozer up here first before we start doing too much more. It'll be good to get him going. It'll be good to get this town going. So, oh, good. I think somebody's done something. Now, none of these I don't think are going to attach there. But I think we can get this one assigned. Yeah, let's see, what are we doing here? Yeah, this one and this one are going to be the ones we really want done. And unfortunately, they're just going to be the longest. So let me pause the video for a few minutes and let me get a couple of these roads constructed. And once the roads are constructed, we'll come back and start constructing more buildings. Well, it never fails, right? I try to get something done and we have an emergency, which I'm kind of glad I stopped talking because I may not have noticed that one of our buildings down here is on fire. It's kind of hard to see, but if we come over to, is it this one? No. Yeah, well, progress of fire. So we need to get the fire truck going again. So I'm glad we did this experiment over here. We don't have any people in our prefab, which again, they're just going to become miserable. But I think what I would do is, didn't we have an issue in an earlier episode where we noticed that there wasn't too many people? Yeah, Chemsol School has very few educated people. So let's take, you know, there's quite a few workers in here. Let's take some workers out of here. And you know what? I can close all these. This is what I do. I sit there with the construction offices open. I don't like to do it while I'm on video, but, you know, just sit there and make sure everybody stays busy for 10 minutes. So let's come back over to here and say, I don't think we need that many people. We're just going to lose them all anyway. Yeah, see, of all the people it could move, it has to move all of my educated ones. So let's go back to here, and we'll take the educated ones. Oops, zoomed in awful far. Oh, wait. What happened there? Am I not in the right place? No, that's the right building. Why can I not move, or am I moving them the wrong way? What did I do? Train cross. Oh, no, I got it right. I'm sorry. So now let's just real quick go down to Revergrad. We can close this one for now. And we'll back on our way over to Revergrad and we'll look for, I think I just yanked a bunch of people out of here, right? You probably don't need that many, but let's take people out of these two flats if we need them all, and then I should be able to come back to here. And let's dump the educated back into here. There we go. And might as well fill it up. There we go. So it's full. Good. All right, so now let's pop back over to our fire station. Let's take a look at the coverage. Yes, we're going to be covered. We have a fire truck in there. So let's see if we play time again. Do we get some people? Yep, look at them go. I hope they're not... Well, they have no other place to go, right? So there we go. So we should have a fire truck, I hope, on the way. Do we need power? Why do we not have power supply over here? Oh, because we haven't built this? Really? So it won't send out a fire truck? Or did I miss it? Oh, let's pause it. Okay. Yeah, so we're in the process. Nobody's working on this. Yeah, so I think we're going to lose that building anyway. I mean, you know, I could probably just build these with dollars, right? All right, let's do it. I hate to do it, but I really don't want a road right there anyway, you know? All right, so let's see what happens. Can we... Now will the truck leave? See, some of these buildings don't need it. Fire truck was called. So do we not need to do that? Oh, it had already left. I'm sorry, guys. Well, we got our power supply done, I guess. Oh, good. But that seems to be happening awful fast. I guess I don't watch enough fires, do I? Okay, good. So we got our steel. We got our steel back, and we got our catastrophe over. And yeah, at least we have power down into this area. Another issue, I think, while we're... Well, this one I think we can build from there, right? Can we... Let's see. It's one of the reasons I leave these open. Well, see, I put them in the same places, generally speaking, so that I could see who's working on what. Like I could see some progress happening here. And then I have this one. A couple things. Now that I'm back, there was something else I thought that I didn't mention yet. I've had a number of comments about the railroad tracks. And what I would like to say is that all of these tracks that we have all need to be replaced or will be replaced with electrical tracks. And for that reason, I'm going to, think about building all new tracks, right? Rather than stopping the trains that we already have, if I build another set of parallel tracks that were electrical, that might make sense in a lot of locations. But I am going to tie it in with my general philosophy of, and I've used this in other games too, like, instead of trying to build intersections that make complete sense for like all kinds of train traffic. In other words, if you want a good intersection, you need to have turns that are long enough, like the distance in the triangle, if this is a T intersection, needs to allow for a train to sit in each section so that this train can go by while the train is sitting here, right? But what I'm thinking of doing more is actually getting it so that this track or these tracks are just for the chemicals that are coming up to here. So chemicals would come along here and go there. Now, if there's going to be issues, I might build a whole entire separate chemical. Like rather than having the chemicals come out this way, maybe we bring another track over here, bring it up along here. Maybe it crosses, maybe it doesn't. Maybe we just overpass it and it becomes its own separate single track for the one train that would be going back and forth between here and here. Because I don't think we're going to need that many chemicals, but we'll see. Does that make sense? So we might end up in places where there's 4 or 5, 6 tracks that are all crossing each other. Now, of course, that's a little bit silly. I don't know why we wouldn't take advantage of this track where it's not going to cause traffic jams. But the point is that we would look at each intersection, not so much with this idea of making the perfect intersection, which this definitely isn't, but with maybe making it so that, any train that's coming in and out of here just doesn't interfere with the traffic that's crossing at all. And if that means building a whole separate line the whole distance, then that's what we would tend to do. The other thing I'm thinking of is rather, there was once comment about maybe you would build like a big, huge roundabout. But the problem is, in order to build a roundabout here, it starts taking up this massive amount of room. And I'm thinking that I'm more inclined to go towards like overpasses. If we look right here and we turn on our wireframe, you'll see that this one's up in the air compared to like down here. So what I'm thinking of is like, say in this area, that we kind of tunnel this out down, and then we just have any train that's going this way overpass. And then if there's trains that need to, turn off here for some reason, then we would then turn them off. And then we would work out how we would do that with a whole separate line as the starting point. It doesn't mean that's the way we would go, but it would be that, we might have 4 or 6 lines going this way, and these just pass right over it. And if none of them need to interchange with each other, then that's it. Like, we wouldn't have any exchange. This wouldn't actually be an intersection. It would just be a crossover. Now, of course, that's not going to work out perfectly that way, I'm sure. But I think that might give you guys an idea of what I'm thinking. Because here's part of the reason for that thinking. I'm picturing a steel industry probably over here. And we're going to need a lot of coal. And I want the coal trains not to cause havoc because they're going to be big, heavy, long trains. I want to be able to maximize it out one way or the other. We might have 6, 10 trains bringing coal over, right? I have no idea at this moment. But quite a few trains, hauling coal. I don't want them interfering with the traffic in this area. And even if I built, inevitably in these train games, even if you build the best possible intersection in the world, if you put enough trains into it, it's still going to become a jammed up mess. And I've learned in the past that one of the ways you can make sure it's not a jammed up mess is just to have a train on its own separate track. And I don't think that that's totally unrealistic in this game, especially not if you plan it out pretty well. Like, in other words, I drew some tracks over to here. Well, all of this material that's coming in is going to be coming from this direction at this point, or maybe certain things will come from the other direction. Well, so none of that stuff needs to go into this area. How do we distribute electrical components? Well, or electronics. It might be better off just to do those by truck, right? Especially because this is pretty central to our entire civilization anyway. So just food for thought there. That I got some comments about the track laying out, and I just wanted to throw that out at you guys and see what you think. And as much as anything else, I think we're going to build something like I'm saying. And the reason that I haven't yet is because, well, we really haven't decided on exactly, how many power plants over here versus how much coal we're going to ship. We may figure out that, well, when we build the power plants first, we don't really need to build another steel mill, but I would like to get more power before it becomes an issue. Well, if you're going to build 4 power plants, they're going to use up 60% of this coal, and then you're really not going to have enough coal just from there, so that we might have to go find coal and bring it in. And then we might decide, well, if we're going to bring the coal from all the way over there, then we don't even really necessarily, maybe I don't know where there's other coal in the area, but we maybe decide that this isn't the best place for the steel. It might be better at that point to haul the iron just out of here along with hauling the coal. So we might end up with more lines here than we first anticipated, because now we have trains coming from over here and from here to bring coal in. So I'm taking it step by step. And unfortunately, there's one comment that Nee made, and I imagine other people probably feel similar. I assume when I get a comment that it's not just one person feeling that way, that I'm getting, quote, tunnel vision. And I'm not sure I understand exactly what that means. And she said I was doing the same thing over and over again. And I'm not sure exactly what that means. I don't feel that way myself. I think, yeah, when it comes to the construction offices, that's the one thing I could sort of think of that I'm doing. And it's sort of like city layout, but it's just sort of, I consider all of this temporary. I mean, I don't know that I would rip it down, but I might. Like, it's, this is just like another city, but keep in mind, my first and primary goal is to become self-sufficient. And in order to do that, I need to build electronics and electrical components. And in order to do that, I need to get workers to our construction place, which coincides greatly with being able to construct over here in Nové Revrograd, right? So, it's might be tunnel vision for a few episodes and that I'm just focusing on getting this construction over here done. But at the same time, it doesn't feel to me that I'm doing the same things over and over again outside of what the game mechanics require. Now, you could say, well, you could build things with dollars. That would be new and exciting. Well, that's not my goal, right? Like, and that's not what this whole series was based on. This whole series was based on what if you or construction office constructed everything. Right? And that's the way I want to play the game. That's the way I'm going to continue to play it, and I'm not going to change it. And hey, just after, I cheat a little bit here and there with, even though I didn't need to, as it turns out. But I'm not it's okay. It's just the general gist of it is going to be that we're not going to do any major projects with the auto construction. Oh, look, we got a Farminsky. Okay, what did you get done? So you got done this road. Yeah, you're going to keep plugging away at these roads. Now, one thing to say as far as, not an overall picture, but it's certainly a picture that I have that I may not have expressed very well, is in the last episodes, it's been a lot of constructing these offices over and over and over again. And that's going to continue. Now, fortunately, we're at a point where we have a bunch more of other construction to work on. But in order for me to build Nové Revrograd, and especially getting over onto this end of it, I am probably going to need another construction office over here somewhere, right? Or else I'm not going to be able to level in this area or wherever else we want to level. So, yeah, I think building these construction offices is just going to be like an ongoing thing. Why do we have such a... why don't you just pass him? I really wish they would take these guys back with a flatbed. Maybe that's one of the improvements. Another thing, I'm jumping around subjects a little bit, killing time here, but another thing to say about all of this, when it comes to the railroad tracks, if you look at the road map, they have like improved signaling still on the road map. Now, I don't know if they've already done the improvements. I know they did make some improvements to it. It doesn't say completed on the road map. That doesn't, again, I don't know how up to date they're actually keeping the road map, which, by the way, if you go to the Steam forums, you can see useful links on the discussions. It's one of the pinned topics, and you can get to the road map from there. But so I'm a little bit hesitant to redo all the railroad tracks, for not only the changing them into electrical, but also if they improve the signaling, it could change the way everything I just said about the railroad tracks. If I could put a waypoint on here and force a train into a certain direction or to a certain track, then I would be far less inclined to want to do 6 or 8 tracks, right? Because I could control the flow of traffic. Like now, they're a little bit like lemmings where they just barrel down whatever path they chose whenever they chose it. And if you gave them an extra track to bypass here, and But they had already picked this. It doesn't matter whether this turns red. They still just sit there and wait. Like they won't go down this other way. Like they're kind of dumb in that they don't update themselves as they go along. It seems to me like they pick a path and then they more or less stick to it. And same thing with the cars, by the way. Like when there's a train crossing, wherever the train may cross, like here, it irritates me to no end that you'll have a traffic jam, you know, like from here all the way to here, in both directions, and, you know, they could come over here or something. You know, like this isn't blocked, or, you know, they don't make any attempt to go around any of the, like, you know, any of the things, which may be good if you had like a road like this. They'd end up going down the dirt road. But in any event, so yeah, they seem to pick a path and then they don't deviate from it. And if we could get waypoints, I think we could build, you know, much better things. But when you click on the trains, you don't really, you could, you know, well, there should be a way we could put waypoints in, and I'm hoping that's coming. So hopefully with a little bit of patience, that will come in before we know it, right? You know what we didn't check? We didn't check this. Yeah, look, he's just working on the tunnel. Could we be working on... Yeah, we certainly could be working on... you know what? Oh, there's no crossing here. That's right. We're going to try to get this... Yeah, we need to try to get that set up and running, huh? So how is our other construction offices doing? This guy's almost done. But really what we want to do... I kind of forgot all about this. We really kind of want to get this guy supplied up, don't we? Well, we have a truck depot over here, or a car depot, whatever it is. Yeah, let's close. Yeah, I want to keep an eye on those things. I know it's annoying to have them open, but we're not going to be sending these guys too far anyway. So the rail construction office is going to need gravel. And gravel can very easily... I'm not even going to go looking for other vehicles, but we will see. What can we get American-wise? Nothing. Nothing that we'll need now. How about dumper? You know, I don't know why you would ever not go with the biggest one. So we are going to take this guy, and we're going to say you're going to go from here to here. And rather than tell you to do anything, let's just have you do gravel. Not that I think you would ever do anything else, but when I haven't set these, I have gotten odd amounts of stuff dumped off at times. All right, so he should be bringing gravel in there. I know we could get another truck, but I'm not sure if we need it right this minute. And so what else is he going to need? So we are going to need steel, prefab, bricks, boards, electrical components, and fuel. All right, so we're going to need like 4 flatbeds coming in and out. And why don't we, since they have 4 right here, we'll bring 4 open hauls. And we're just going to see if we can just have them all come in here. Oh, the other thing is you should be waiting when it comes to dropping stuff off. Good. Okay, so now open hauls. Again, I don't know why we wouldn't go with the biggest one. Is this a new one? No. Or if it is, it's not. Yeah, nothing newer and improved as far as that goes. So we're going to do 4 open hauls, and let's see, can we get them all open? Yes. So we're going to come up to you and say you're going to haul boards, or lumber, as I like to call it. You are going to haul bricks. You are going to haul prefab panels. Game is becoming a little bit laggy here. And that's just another issue that we may have moving forward. And it may be the killer. I got it. I am running the 64-bit, so we shouldn't, it should be in as good a shape as we can, but yeah, it still could be a problem. All right, so now what we want to do is say each one of these is going to go unload here. And then you're going to wait, and we'll try to collect the right thing here for each one. You're going to wait, drop off your bricks. And prefab's done. And steel. And wait. And wait. Okay. Start. Good. So as those guys pull out, we should have all of these things. Now, yeah, limit the amount. We definitely want to limit the amount here. Now, the warehouse electrical components, we're really not going to need any of those right now, but what I'm thinking we would do with those is we do have 3 stops here, right? So let's see if we can't hold off. Oh no, you know what? We don't want to hold off. No, you know what? Let's get a truck. It doesn't have to. Well, it could be whatever truck. Closed haul truck, right? So let's get an oil truck and a closed haul truck, and that should complete everything because we can still use this truck afterwards. So there's no reason to be that cheap. And again, I'm just going to go with the biggest, whether it makes any sense. I don't think it matters when they're just sitting there anyway. And then the other one we want is an oil tank, right? So there we go. So now now what are we going to have in here? Oh, you know what? Yeah, you're going to get electrical components from right here, even though it's certainly don't need the biggest truck to drive back and forth between there and there, right? And then you're just going to come right over to here. Now, unload or load electrical. Unload and wait. Yeah, so this is going to give us what I would describe as barely enough parking places. So you can start whenever you're ready, and then this guy, the fuel, should go over to here and to here and get fuel. Let's go back to there. And you're going to pull right straight in and dump off fuel and wait. Good, so that should be everything we need as far as supplies goes, and we should have one extra space so that what we could do is go back to our depot. Oh, here it is. Oop, did we not start that guy? Go ahead and get started, buddy. I probably should have bought that guy down by the fuel, huh? Really could have bought all those guys in a different place. Might have been smarter, but in any event. And let's get, how many people do we want on a bus? Like the most, how many people can you put in? It's like 50 or something, right? Or is there a limit? I'm forgetting. Let's take a look at 160. So we can handle quite a few. I don't know that we really need that many. But since for now we're going from so far away, I like quicker buses rather than slower buses, right? So there's 100 miles. Let's get the fastest decent sized bus. This guy's 90, but he's small. And that's not at all what I want. Let's click on buses. Yeah, only one page. Yeah, so really this guy is just, he doesn't hold the most, so he could be better off. But these guys are a lot slower, because I think, you know what, I'm going to get 2 of these buses. And for now, they're just going to come down to here. But hopefully we can change this pretty soon. Get people. I don't think, this may not work out that well. And then come over to here. So let's start this guy. And even though it doesn't, they always seem to get jammed up anyway, we'll wait a few seconds and then we'll see about sending this guy, or the other guy, over to it. But what we can do before we close this one is say, you're going to have the same route as that guy had. All right, so how are we doing on our work? Okay, construction office is not, oh, look, we got this done. All right, so we can, I think the thing to do now is put in a few more roads, little roads. Yeah, we want the fancy ones. I'm going to turn that a little bit this way. That's really for all that building, I only get one. One thing. Okay. Maybe we'll put another one in there just for the sake of it. All right, so what is this? This was our kindergarten. It's far from my top priority. Yeah, look, Mountain View is also done. So, what, let's just build these two here. We'll need them. So we're just going to get these guys real quick, hopefully to here. And then what I'll even do is come here and say, you do this one, and hopefully they get those roads done pretty quickly. And in the meantime, yeah, these guys are going to pretty much just stay working on this. And these guys are waiting on components. So we really probably should give them another task, right? Yeah, because they can get into here now. Good. And then, you know what, these guys are just, they're still running gravel out. So they're going to be using their dump trucks pretty extensively to get up to here. But now these guys should be sending their dump trucks out to get to there. Good. All right, so we probably close these for a little while and see. I think I'm going to end up calling it an episode. I think I covered everything I wanted to talk about as far as plans go, and this again was kind of mostly a construction episode. We're sort of, is this guy, he's paving, so he's getting this done. And then you know what we didn't look at? We haven't looked at this guy in a little while. He's still paving along. See, it takes a long time when they get far away. But yeah, definitely want to get this office going. And as we get these offices, I'm going to keep trying to build these offices as best I can, wherever I think I might build something in the future, just so that we can do the leveling and everything, and that building the offices becomes a little bit less of a thing. I think we can get in a pretty good distance from this one once we have some people in here, right? Like, in other words, we can go back and get people where we need to from here, even to build power plants or to build food factories. Like, it's not unreasonable to come over to this side of the hill to do that. Now, you know what? We didn't build. Let's build one last thing pretty much before we go. Small bus platform. And yeah, I think I'd rather have the people part closer to the, of course, this connects and not the road, so hopefully, oh, okay. Oh, you won't go straight, that's why. Okay, well, it'll be a little bit ugly, but there we go. So that means, why don't one of you guys work on this as well? Might be giving them too much to do, but at least they'll get it done without me having to worry about it. And then, oh look, we could probably get this one, at least, yeah, we'll do a fancy road there. Yeah, we could connect the, oh, so we have some buildings to do. We don't, oh no, you know what, I'm copping up. They weren't done that construction, were they? No. Well, it's done now. Yeah, that was probably the wrong thing to do. Other than, you know what? These guys are actually sort of more geared up to doing the final bits of construction. So the fact that, yeah, you know what, I'm going to do, I know I was about to say goodbye, but I think I'm going to take this guy and apply him to this. He won't be able to do that and this. Right? Because I think they're a little more inclined to be able to do this final phase of construction. Though now that we have, well, yeah, because we don't have people to get the asphalt. That's the killer over here for these guys that try to do the work. These other guys are a little bit more because they're coming from the other area. Good, we're making progress. So like I said, I'm not sure, I'm never going to be 100% sure where the next episode will go, but I would picture that, you know, until we get this built, we're probably going to have some construction episodes. I may pass a little time in between the episodes getting a few more of these roads done, since that's, I don't know, it's a little bit like watching paint dry, I would imagine. So, you know, and again, I think you guys have seen me build the buildings for a town before. So, but anyway, you get the idea. So I guess I will hopefully see you guys tomorrow. I hope you enjoyed the episode. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.